back to the, okay. So that also explains the reason that the speakers weren't picking up so well either.
Yep.
All right, so I don't know why I have a bunch of little plus signs all over my phone right now, but I do.
All right, ready to come in?
I'd like to know what the plus signs are. So, yeah, let's go ahead and come in, I guess.
Hello.
We're good there. All right, well, we did not make it to Udicci updates tonight, so sorry. Just had a couple little technical issues we wanted to kind of work through, and hopefully the sound is better. We had a little issue with the sound back there, but afternoon cocktail kicked off just a couple hours ago, and it was cool. Want to give a shout out to Will Phillips, the Greece Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for the social love. That's kind of, wait, I don't know, social love. That just, is that okay? Yeah, we can say social love. That's kind of cool. That's not politically incorrect yet. So cool stuff's happening down here at Udicci. Okay, cool stuff is not really right now because it's quite hot in here, to be honest with you. But cool stuff is happening, and honestly, I guess we're just kind of excited to start sharing that story a little bit more. And tonight's episode, we're gonna just be a little bit more relaxed. We're gonna actually review last week's show, and this is almost more like a business planning session in a weird way, but more about what it is we're trying to get to. I want to have Tessa's feedback from last week, a little bit of exploration of the with content, the format more than content. But then also we're going to get into tonight a little bit Udicci presents Udicci. Basically today we're going to have a little bit of fun, from some Facebook posts where we were ever so reminded that our website's still not up to date, and thank you for that, because I kind of know that.
It could look like my Facebook page.
It's one of those things as a small business owner, and if there was any kind of frustration I think every small business owner could appreciate, it's everybody else telling them what they have to do in their business. It's like, you need to do this in your business. Thank you. I know that. But there's only 24 hours in a day, and there's only 2 of us going on this whole thing. And we've got to prioritize. Right, and there's $0, right? So it's like, that's entrepreneur life. That's the case. And we've just got to prioritize things. And I know that for somebody who's sitting here saying we're a social media company, that you would expect us to have a good website. And I understand that if we were building websites. We are not building websites. We are creating a social platform that will help small business grow and people manage their lives. We call it PALMS. It's the Professional and Life Management System. That's just one of the solutions that will be on Udicci's platform for those of you who want to come on. We're actually opening up the platform to a few more people now. We're getting our feet wet in the testing. We've got a mobile platform that's, acceptable. We still acknowledge that we are not UI guys. We get that. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder too, that you are not UI guys. There's a lot of things that we're not. We're not rich. That's one thing for certain. We're not rich. We are overweight. I am. And that's primarily because I eat really bad when I'm working here 12 hours a day. But I don't complain about it. I guess I am complaining about it. I just wanted, for all of you who have all of the answers, please, instead of just telling us what to do, help us get it done.
Go fund us.
Go fund us. You've got to have a GoFundMe account to do that. Oh, you're right. And then you got to run that thing, and that's it. So that's kind of tonight's episode. Tonight's episode is, really? We're here again, the roller coaster called entrepreneur life, and it continues. So after we come back from this short break, Tess is going to be up here. We're just going to have a couple conversations, and it's about nothing in particular tonight, because sometimes we just need to slow down and have nothing in particular. And I'm half thinking, we should go to the comfy chairs. Let's go to the comfy chairs after this break.
Give your water? Do you want your water?
Okay.
Oh, you won't be able to see.
Ready?
You want water first?
Yes. Wait, no.
What?
No, it's okay. I'll get it during a break.
I can get you water right now. It's really okay.
Okay. Okay.
Things we all those things that we, Yeah.
Now we're ready.
Okay, yeah, so, right, color differences, those are things that, oh, hold on, we probably have a Facebook post right now telling me that we have a color difference, right? Chuck, please fix the color difference, thank you.
Tess, you know what you should do? Yeah.
I do, thank you. It's funny because Tim and I talk about this all the time, is like, I think like becoming a small, when you really go through all this, you just have to build up a tolerance for that kind of stuff. You're like, I hear you.
Well, I build up a tolerance for it, but I also keep a mental note. I keep a mental note, and when I need that information, it's there, and I can pull it out when I'm ready to do it, or I have the resources to do it, or something.
And then I
like
can
that.
go back to the person who said I should do it and go, thank you, you obviously knew what I needed to do. Why don't you just do it for me?
Yeah.
That's happening. Anyway, so it's funny because we've been really having a few of like some internal laughs, if you will, where like you're not telling me anything. It's like when you look at me and you're like, oh, you are a bad person because you didn't do that. Like, are you telling me something I didn't know? Like, you aren't a good enough person because you didn't do this. Like, okay.
I thought of something just now, and I could see it in Amanda, and maybe that's one of the things that you and Tim suffer with, because you're here, you're stationary. When I went to the conference, I got rejuvenated. Amanda went on tour, and going to that conference,
World tour, declaring it now.
just added so much to my knowledge base and kind of confirmation of you've come a long way in these 18 months since the first time you went, and how you see your business and how it's growing. But you guys are kind of just here all the time.
The odd thing, I hear you. For me, I think my rejuvenation has to come through a vacation with my family right now, because the amount of knowledge that we have to immerse ourselves in each day to learn is kind of like, I'd like the break. I mean, today Tim and I were talking about how they are actually segmenting the processor usage on hybrid web servers.
Okay.
Right. I mean, so we're like, okay, now we have to swing all the way over to a different direction.
Yeah.
But we love all of that, right? It's like we love really starting to geek out on, okay, at the circuit level, how do you do this stuff with data?
Right.
But that's a part of the business nobody ever sees, right? So, which is then the really comical part when somebody says, like, you know, you don't have a good enough website. And I'm going, I actually really get that. I really get it. I really get how good of a website or how bad of a website we currently have, because it doesn't have a really solid working mobile interface yet. And the funny thing is the person saying you don't have a good website would never think it's because we don't have a really good solid working mobile interface yet.
Right.
Right? And you're like, we actually have to think of those things.
Well, I mentioned it, the Facebook page for my company is still up there. I tried to figure out how to take it down until I got it done. But then I kind of observed what Jairi was doing. Yep. She just throws it in the post. So I just started throwing stuff in the post. The more groups I joined, I just throw it in the post. I said, still getting publicity.
But it's a lot of work. You know,
well,
social media
by
is a
doing
lot of work.
it in the post is not as much work as if I were maintaining my business Facebook page.
Right. You just make sure you're sharing at the right time.
I'm sharing
right.
and commenting and things like that. So.
And social media as a whole right now, it's one of those weird little necessary, I don't want to go to evils, right, but one of those necessary annoyances. Let's call it worst case scenario. Because honestly, social media is not giving us the return for the demand it's asking.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we've got to put in, as small business owners, we got to have the website up. We got to have the Facebook page up. I got to keep the Twitter up. No. There's a software for that. Great. Let me go learn the software for that. I still have to write all the content for it. Oh, but there's people who can do that. Great. You have the money for me to pay for that. Like, it always reaches that conversation at some point. But social media right now is just really, I don't think, getting it done for small business.
I'm not sure if it's because I'm not really versed in it or not, but what I have found, again, sort of this experience like Amanda, being on the road and doing things the old-fashioned way, actually talking to people, has done far more for promoting my business than sitting in front of that computer saying, I'm going to do this to this Facebook page.
And then when you connect with that person through Facebook, then all of a sudden there's legitimate conversation and connection going on. But so many of us with our Facebook, when we started our Facebook, we're like, oh, everybody from high school, oh, everybody from college, oh, everybody from here, everybody from there, and we've got this big smattering of people.
And I will tell you, the one thing that is really starting to wear me down, and by reducing the number of young people to practically zilch has helped, is the whole selfie thing. It at some point I just sort of start, I am now feeling, how many pictures can one take of oneself?
Quite a few, apparently.
Evidently.
I mean, and now that I can kind of just take a video and process out every single frame as its own picture, selfie oven! Right? It's like, actually, I was out today with my son, and on my phone, they've got this fast mode where it takes like 8 pictures in a row.
Yeah, I have that. Yeah, I've been playing with that
cool.
too.
It's fun. It really is. I mean, we were actually out there golfing, and we were able to capture like the point of impact on the golf ball.
Right.
You know, it wasn't sharp, but it was cool. You could see it. You know, but I'm like, that stuff is cool, but it's still time away from what.
But I just don't see myself constantly doing this.
Right.
I just.
So good stuff. Thanks for all the Facebook stuff. I'm not sure what's the actual Facebook post.
Yeah.
So last week, a couple things. Real quick, just because some people tune in different times. From here on out until further notice, it's Beach Garden in Udicci.
Oh, okay.
Right? I'm thinking we got We got this sandbar thingy majiggy that changes the name every time we talk about it.
Yeah.
We got
Wasn't
the
it the
heat.
clam bar? at
Yeah, I
one
think it was
point?
the clay. I think it was the oyster shucking giant.
Oh yeah, the oyster shucking giant.
And people, like, the funny thing is, like, I get comments from people like, we don't get what you're doing. Like, it's not hard. It's not hard to get
Well,
what we're
did
doing.
you
at
see
this
how
point.
I just said that's a pretty picture?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's the funny thing is, like, we don't get what you're doing. Like, here's the thing. It's really not hard to get what we're doing if you actually sat and watched a video. Like, it wouldn't take that much, like, okay, we're actually starting to figure it out.
Yeah.
But, so a couple things. I want to talk about last week's show. I want to get your feedback. I know you watched a little bit of it. From what you watched, then I also want to kind of talk about, like, what I'm trying to envision. And I think we kind of did a little bit of it today. And I want to kind of, after that, talk through the thing that's Udicci presents Udicci. We're actually going to kind of create an online presentation to kind of present ourselves. So I feel like Tim and I, we have some stuff laid out, and you can ask us questions like, what does that mean? And we go, I don't know. Right. But that way we can actually help people understand, because they don't understand. Because I was
You didn't
told,
reach
yeah.
a point. I spent so many days this week trying to, like, clean stuff up since I was gone and get back, saying to younger people on the phone, listen, I'm a senior, I have no idea what you're talking about. Why do you have to mirror my phone to tell me what I owe you? Just go in on the computer and tell me. Well, no, it's very simple. All I have to do is, I don't want to know that.
I don't want to do that. I just want to
I don't like it.
just go. Just
Besides,
make life easier.
how do I know that doesn't mean you're installing something on my phone?
Good question. And other things we don't know about. So we'll go to a break,
Okay.
and we'll come back and we'll kind of figure that part out. All right, are you happy now with the sound?
Yeah, something better.
All right, we gotta fix that little thing there.
Sounds better.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, we kind of had the sound.
What you got in that cup?
This one? Hard cider. Want some?
Ready?
You don't like cider? Do you drink?
I can't. I'm meds.
Oh, sorry. I really like hard cider. It's the thing that I started like last year, and like this one is hops and cider, which is really cool. And that's actually one of the things I want to do on our second Saturdays. Whereas we were thinking about doing wineries, and I definitely still want to do the wineries. I'd like to include some of the new
Breweries?
What a cidery? Is it a cidery? What's a hard cider called? Is it a brewery? I don't know.
You're asking me.
Yeah, but there's a couple around here, and
Smells
obviously
like
we've
apple
got.
juice.
Yeah, it just tastes so good. It's just that it's that whole thing of youth, right? I used to really like cider,
Yeah.
but this is good.
You are licensed.
Oh, well, we got that.
I knew
Anyways.
that. Well, I don't know
we
if he
knew
knew
that.
it, but I knew
Okay,
it.
okay. I can see it right here. I got it. So anyways, last week's show.
Okay.
Let me just kind of have you download a little bit, and from whatever direction you want to come
you
from.
you don't want to give me a prep again this week because you didn't give me a prep last week. I just showed up and things just took off.
And okay, in part because that's what I really think we're creating here.
And it was fine.
Is this like social studio, this social TV feel? And like you're saying, you've said it a lot. It's like we have to let it become what it is. We have to go with the flow. And more, like today's thing, I like changing sets depending what you're talking to. And I was trying to get a little of that last week. Now I know that we have a lot of work and build out to get done here, but so that's kind of what I was trying to test last week.
Okay.
And then get your thoughts on it.
Well, I could tell you with testing, and I also know you have a thing for that particular table that I just don't like.
That table?
The one that's too high.
The one that's too high. I agree. I agree.
And I don't know if this is more comfortable because it's more height friendly.
So let me tell you what I was trying to do with that. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the talk show feel, so that we can have like the set over there where you guys were, right? And then this other one, which we could still bring a different feel to. So if we wanted to bring it around, so that's why I like the height of it. And I that part I like, the height. I'm not saying I love that table, but I know that there were still those couple comments where it was like, oh, you're not, now you guys are above us. Like it's not like we're above you. It's more like we're sitting at home. And some people happen to be sitting at the high tops, and others are sitting at the dining room table.
Okay.
So that's what I'm trying to get, like more that kind of feel.
Yeah.
It's just more difficult because it's scrunched into one spot here.
Yeah.
But on camera, it doesn't necessarily one spot there.
I think I mentioned to you, it actually didn't look bad on camera at all. And it was better. It was easier to understand what it was that you were trying to do. So I thought it was fine. I just don't like that table.
Right.
I think if you just take that milk carton from the 1950s and get rid of it and get a different pub table, then maybe. But that thing should not come out again. Especially when you try to see
we are back to
a shorter person at that table.
One of the things we did think about doing is actually, here's the reason I haven't gone through doing anything to that table. I don't think that table itself is the answer.
No, it's
but
not.
we thought about trying to cut it down. We can kind of use it. So I have been looking at other kind of tables, like what that would be. So how do you feel about the format of that, though? Like being there talking with Chris and Tim. Wait. Yeah, Chris. Right.
It was
I'm
Chris.
Sorry, I was like, who was here last week?
Yes,
That's Tim.
it was Chris.
No, but we had another Tim. We had a couple Tims now. We were
Yes.
trying to figure out who they are. But anyway, so yeah, Chris was here last week. And how about like for you being here? How did you feel about the way the conversation went? Media, because I was trying not to be a part of the conversation.
Well, the conversation was fine because I just clicked with him.
Right.
I didn't know anything about him, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I wasn't sure exactly what we were going to talk about. But once we started to talk, I was very comfortable and enjoyed the conversation, and so I thought that was pretty good, and I think some of the things that they're doing is good, and I think it also gave us an opportunity, or at least me, to expand a little bit more on what I mean when I'm talking about the continuum, and not feeling as if there's no hope, but rather let's hurry up and get to the end of it so we can sit down and do the real work that needs to get done.
And just kind of begin again.
And begin again. Yeah, so I know I really enjoy speaking with those guys.
Yeah, they were definitely Dave, right?
I believe so,
It
yes.
was Dave that was at the table. He was a fun guy. I think he was actually enjoying some of the banter. I don't know that Chris instantly caught on to like I was trying to do that little. Sorry, that kind of guy. Which we had gone to lunch, and I told him like, no, I will be a little sarcastic, but it's my job to take the other side of things. I felt like that caught him off guard a couple times. And I'm like, I don't like making somebody feel like I was trying to catch him. It's just like it's just trying to have.
No, it was. I enjoyed it because part of the reason I enjoyed it also is because even though we talk about the ivory tower on occasion, but it doesn't mean that I don't enjoy that conversation.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I liked about graduate school. It wasn't conversing about.
They should influence the real world.
They should influence the real world.
Yeah.
And I think that, so I enjoyed it. It was almost like, wasn't quite what I call brain sex.
Interesting.
It was more like brain, maybe basketball or something like that.
Okay, that's fair. That's interesting.
Brain sex would be the guy that came in that day that was talking about the movies.
Yeah. Right, because that's a whole, like, you can relax.
No, but I'm just saying, it could be, a particular topic or something where I just when I find somebody that really, understands that particular thing that I love, and then it's just going back and forth. But David.
The guy. Yeah.
No, Chris, I didn't know.
Right.
And I didn't know necessarily what we were going to talk about, but once the conversation opened up, it was, I guess the best way to, rather than basketball, I would say it was more like brain exercise.
Okay.
Brain exercise.
That's good.
It wasn't a topic that I was hotly passionate about, but it was a brain exercise. The other guy, that was like, oh my God, he knows what that is, the dark man.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay.
That was kind of different. You have to have him on the show.
And you got to have both of them. Oh, you don't want Clay?
I do want him. Is that
I invited him. He hasn't got back to me yet.
I want him on.
Yeah, I got you.
Because I did watch the movie, Ex Machina.
Okay.
Machina, whatever it is. I did watch it. And I realized from watching that, and it's not the first time, I love science fiction, but the one thing that truly scares me, and I don't know why, is artificial intelligence.
I think it scares a lot of people.
I'm extremely afraid of and I know how close we are to it.
Yeah,
and it's inevitable.
And I think that largely our society right now is acting and living in an artificially intelligent, because it's not very intelligent right now, in the way that we're approaching a lot of things. And it's just about to go to the point where we're going to just turn this over to machines, and yeah, it's weird.
That scares me.
That's sort of the empire collapse. So it's kind of like let's get the empire to collapse so that we actually, when we go to artificial intelligence, it's actually valuable intelligence that's artificial. Because truly, I actually had this conversation the other day, like just the actual term artificial intelligence, it is artificial.
Right.
It is not real intelligence.
Exactly.
There is not experience. There is not wisdom. It can sound like wisdom.
Yeah, it shouldn't even. It should, because basically what it is a machine becoming a sentient being.
Right.
I mean, that's what it really is. That's what it is. And so, what do you call that? We have chosen to call that artificial intelligence, but that's not really what it is. It's this kind of crossing over from an inanimate object becoming a sentient being or something like that, which that is fascinating.
It's fascinating in concept and even in application.
But it scares me.
But it's very scary. I mean, man can't get his own society right now. He wants to create his own
machine that takes over
everything. I mean, okay.
And we're very close. And
you know what's going to happen? Very soon, we're going to start getting like artificial intelligence commenting on our Facebook going, you guys need to update your website. And I'll be able to go ahead. And it'll get done. I'll be like, yay, artificial intelligence.
Well, I think today probably on Facebook, I finally figured out I think, well, I shouldn't say I figured it out. What a troll is. You know what I mean? Like this person.
I hear it all the time.
No, I'm just thinking. I don't know if I don't know if I really got it, but I thought I got it when I don't know somebody posted a picture, and I actually knew who it was, and then they had said, you know, please don't do this, whatever. Not to me, but in general. And then so then I wrote, who is that? But I knew who it was, so I was like, is that a troll? Is that a troll behavior? Because the person responded to me and told me who it was, but I already knew who it was. I just said, who is that?
I don't know. Is that troll behavior?
I don't know.
Tests and troll behavior. It's not a dime. No,
Well,
yeah, I don't
there are
know
quite
that.
a few. There are some people on Yahoo that don't like me.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the world that don't like me.
And as I said earlier, I don't care what people think about me.
Yeah, there's so much to be had there.
Okay.
So coming back to thinking
That
through
conversation.
last week's set,
Mm-hmm.
today's moving around idea. Certainly, the cultivate set is going to be the closest one to get done. But I got to tell you, like, the more that I'm even sitting here, I'm really starting to feel like I like this kind of comfortable feel. I think that which is what we try to do something,
Yeah, I like
if you will,
this.
for the ladies. I think that this starts to work. I think we can really probably plan to keep this for a while. That's definitely going to need a lot of work.
I liked the way it was today over there.
I don't like the
what didn't you
table
like?
and the chairs. I don't like the look.
You don't like the aesthetic of it,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
but the functionality of it.
Functionality, I
thought
like
was
it
good.
completely. Yeah.
I did like that. I
And
felt
I
comfortable there.
Definitely think I want to get like probably another mic or something like that. But I feel like this idea,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then what I would like to have, for particularly like on Thursday nights for Verbum, I'd like to have that kind of talk show feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to have people in both chairs, right? Some two people over here, two people over there, and you're welcome in every single one of them, right? But I would say like you kind of take we decide like if that's the main topic, and this is like
Chuck
right?
is always planning.
Well, I always want to kind of like see I want to see it
Go
like
over there and see what you can do.
right? Because I think it'd be really cool to have like the main conversation going on over here, and then, if you will, the peanut gallery
peanut
over here,
gallery
right?
over here.
But on a different, like if we want to, the main conversation could be here, and that could be the peanut gallery. But I think it'd be fun to kind of play that back and forth a bit.
Playing off of what Amanda said today, we could actually make it feel a little bit more homey and just put several chairs around with a the coffee table in the middle there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, but a little bit more
But I still
upright.
want something that is our desk, that's the talk show, right? It's got to be that thing that comes up
we could
high.
get one of those
You-
coffee
but see-
tables that comes up to like a TV tray.
I have one. I have one of those. I have an oak one. I
Oh,
have
do
an
you?
oak one. It lifts up. It lifts up. But see, here's the flaw I think in your logic. You're saying you want the talk show format feel, sort of, but it's very standard, and you're not following the standard.
I get
So
you.
you're looking for something else.
I'm looking for, if you will, in here, A, is my desk for the day, right? That's where I'm going to work from, which is, we've got these two desk things. B, that is kind of the, if you will, the mediator. That it's the person who's going to be mediating conversations during Verbum.
Well, what you're describing though is not even the mediator, because Jen is the moderator normally in the talk show format, but not the talk show format that you have on the Tonight Show or
Right.
something like that. If you're talking more about because that's a pretty standard format. You have the couch, you have the desk, and you have the two
Right.
three chairs or the couch. Then the other situation where you could call it a talk show, where you have a moderator, is sort of like the Gwen Eiffel type thing, or the Bonnie Herbe, or Meet the Press, but everyone is still sitting around the same table. They're not distant.
And I don't
They're
want it
not
around the same
distant.
table. I still want this more home. It's still more comfortable, like we're all in a living room kind of thing. And like you saw and you liked, where when the two of you were talking, it was the two of you talking.
Right.
You know, that as opposed to making it about everybody at one time, I want to make it a little bit more intimate by having like the camera on the two here, the camera on the two there, and then like one maybe they could either just bring everybody in, and that's the one that kind of points to me, me or something.
In that case, I would go back to more of what Amanda was talking about. If you wanted more to have that sort of feeling and that setting, then I don't think you should have your desk and up higher. You would be better having this with some chairs and a coffee table, where you've got the peanut gallery, but you're not. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. I kind of want different looks out of each thing, almost like I'm trying to add design to the shots. And if everything is one level, then all of a sudden you've got, like, height to me is something we could, it changes the shot.
But it changes the shot, but it makes it difficult when you're changing the height, when you're trying to have comfortable conversation.
But if that's the point though, if it's the two people over here talking to the two people here, and if it's just me at the table, that's fine. Like David wants to come and join, that's fine, but you now are part of like this offset peanut gallery.
So you want to be the guy, let's see, what's his name? Howard Stern called him Baba Booey. Jimmy Fallon has the guy that used to be on Right for Saturday Night Live that wears the glasses. They
Okay.
cut to him,
But not often.
and he's at a lectern.
Okay.
He's
Something like
at
that,
a
right.
lectern,
Almost.
and he throws in these comments. They all had that. Steve Allen had it. They had different names.
Is probably,
So that's
that
what
sounds
you're talking
more
about.
like where I'm trying to go, which is because that would be the sarcastic side, right? Because I want to have those intellectual, fair conversations, but because you'll start getting the opposing views, the humor can lighten it. The sarcasm can challenge the person in a way.
But then I definitely think, now that I see what you're saying, you've got it. I think the lectern and only you is the best way to do it.
Okay, so we can try
Keep
that.
the guests separate. Just
Keep the
watch,
guests separate, I
watch
agree.
Jimmy Fallon tonight.
All right, and I agree with you. 100%. The guests have to, but that way it's more about the guests.
Right.
You know, and it's like, because that's, you're absolutely right. Like, I don't want to be Jimmy Fallon. We want
I
the
know
stars.
I know who you want to be.
Okay.
On what was the show? Laughing. They had the guy with the glasses.
I'll
who
have to
died.
go watch when they
But
say,
I'm
but
just
that's it.
saying you can just watch Jimmy Fallon tonight.
Okay.
Jimmy Kimmel does it a little different. He has the guy that has the uniform on, and Guillermo, and he'll send him out to do stuff.
Okay.
But essentially, it's comic relief.
Yes.
It's comic relief, but none of the guests are sitting with the comic relief.
And for me, it's like I'll still get into the conversation.
Right. And they do.
And always play that side that people think that they know that I'm actually taking.
Right.
Like, you must think this way. I'm like, yeah.
Right, but none of the guests are sitting there with the comic relief.
Right.
Which
So last week with Dave, and I had told Chris, I'm like, we're really not ready to have a third person. You know, let's say that Dave came and like, okay, you sit over here. You could be off to the side,
Right.
because that night we didn't plan 2 people to talk. We planned, 4 people. We planned 2 people.
Yeah.
You know, and you wanted to come in once in a while. That's cool. I actually sort of enjoyed having him at the table. It's almost like somebody else was joining the comic relief, and I could bring him into it. So I did have a little fun with that, because like he and I, when we were up there talking.
Except that watching him, observing him from the chair, and then also watching him on tape. He didn't belong there.
Agreed. It almost was a bit like uncomfortable.
For him.
For him.
It
Or at
was.
least it came across as uncomfortable, because here's a guy who had no idea what we were going to be doing. You had no idea.
Right.
He had no idea because he had just been asked to come kind of this thing.
Right.
And now he's sitting in the spot, if you will, that seems
At
to
a
be
high table.
At the high table,
Right.
which was the point that they were making. So I got that piece of it, but there was a piece of me that still kind of like liked it. But I'm with you. I think we just set it
I
aside.
understand that when you're talking about talk show, the way the conversation was going, having that person at the podium, the comic relief,
Right.
is standard, but they stand alone.
Okay.
And they're generally at a podium or they're sitting in the high chair. Gary Owens was the guy
So
laughing.
almost that's exactly like I just need to have my own little thing.
And not that table.
No, that table's too big.
It's too big.
Right. I almost need to have my own thing.
Right.
That is just what
You
what
become
is
the
me.
peanut gallery.
That's it. I'm the peanut gallery. Right. And what I'd like to do is to start, doing a better job of planning out the conversations, invite people who are interested, having opposing views,
Right.
And I'd like to make sure that either, yourself, hopefully, you're kind of leading the discussion, right? And you can take, because you don't tend to take a position, but you have a position, right?
The other thing we could add in there,
What's that?
if we, going back to last Thursday's show, the one thing that I did like is it was almost like there was two sort of conversations going on.
Yes.
There was Chris and Tess and you and David up at the top. So it was all, what I just kind of had a vision of is what if we actually had this table set up where there's counterpoints being discussed over here, and then we switch off and the counterpoints over here being discussed.
I think that's exactly
That's
what
social
we're trying
TV.
to say, right?
Yeah.
And what we would want to ask is that, like, hey, if you're not right there, you can turn over your shoulder and
Yes.
see yourself. If you're not on that TV,
No talking.
just be respectful. No talking.
Well,
you can make little.
what you could
conversations.
do. I mean, that really, instead of trying to mishmash everything in together, depending on the topic, depending on the guest, is how you could change that setup. So, for example, because maybe not every topic do you want the sarcastic peanut gallery,
True.
right?
True.
So in that case, you might have sort of everyone sitting around together, sort of like Meet the Press or Gwen Eiffel or something like that. Then there are times when you want to do the Jimmy Fallon, David Letterman standard talk show thing where you have the desk,
Right.
the couch,
Right.
and the podium with the peanut gallery. You don't have to try to have all of that
I think
in
we
one
have to
show.
move toward. Agreed. We don't have to have it all in one show, and I kind of don't, because ultimately, and depending on the topic, you're right. I may not want to use sarcasm. I may want to use encouragement.
Right.
Right. It's just when we go down those touchy ones that people are really adamant about, like, okay, look, I mean, we all have hardened opinions. Let's, that we're gonna cut it off. And a couple times last week, I felt that way. I was like, all right, come on, let's just agree that we can move on from here. And you're absolutely right, though. There's going to be other much more intimate conversations,
Right.
like the one that Amanda was just having here. You wouldn't want that.
Exactly. So I think instead of talking about it in terms of having the ultimate set where that happens, you think about the topic, the guest, and say, okay, for this show, we might want the living room feel,
Right.
and
A little bit.
everyone's together. It doesn't mean there can't be some humor or whatever. And then there are other times when you say, no, I want to be in the peanut gallery because I feel like throwing some shells out at this guy.
And I think it would be fun to start switching where you are. And to me, like, if we can create that for them and other people want to have their own time, they can follow the format.
Right.
They can just take the roles of where they belong.
Right.
And we can really begin to make this much more social. I look right now, pretty much every time we've got people in the audience, we've got new people here.
Right.
We can begin doing something a lot.
Yeah, because
a lot of fun
Letterman did it with Paul Schaefer.
now. Okay.
Paul Schaefer was Letterman's peanut gallery.
Right. Okay.
He just happened to be the band director.
And I think the peanut gallery would be fun to do from actually where Tim is too. We can kind of add that. in.
Oh, that's Steve Allen did that. What Tim is how Steve Allen
Okay.
did it. I can't remember but that guy was hysterical. But he was doing what Tim was doing, and that was that's what I say. If you go to YouTube, watch Jimmy Fallon tonight,
Oh, we'll
and
see
you'll
that
see
one.
what that guy does. YouTube Steve Allen. I mean, he was the original. That was the original Tonight Show. But you can see Letterman. It was Paul Schaefer. So Paul, what do you think? And then Paul Schaefer would play something, or he'd tell a joke, or he'd signal the drum, da-dum. But they all have that kind of. But
they had a little rhythm.
Comic,
they followed, right.
comic relief. But it's always one person.
Right.
It's one person.
Right, and it's just kind of, and that's exactly it. It's just to kind of like, okay, we need a break here for a reason for something,
right?
And people can't get too offended by that. So, do you like the idea though? That's what I was trying to go for last week.
Yeah, I think like I said, I enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah.
I understand better now what you're trying to do.
Right.
And I think the suggestions I have will get you to where you want to go.
There. I agree.
Will get you where you want to go.
And this is the reason that we bring Tess on, because she's a small business ner that knows what it is we need to do. So thank you for sharing what it is that we need to do. Just one more thing.
I'm just here to serve.
You're just here to take care of. And when we come back, we'll kind of just talk about, we'll do a quick break, and we'll say Udicci presents Udicci. We'll be back in a moment.
10 minutes.
That looks good there.
Like it?
Okay.
It's been a weird response. I'm like, okay. So yeah, we're good. So yeah, like over there, I like what Julio just did, the real talk, and that is one thing I want to make sure that we build out over there is a spot for like the different brands that can put their names in, so we can so that wall I kind of want it to keep coming.
That was one of the things I learned this time at this conference I went to, talking to people, is having multiple banners depending on the venue.
Yes. It just makes sense for the different venues what you have.
Yeah.
So anyway, because we didn't get to do this on Udicci updates, we're just adding it here. We're going to on I forget the date now, June 11th, mid-June-ish. We're going to be kind of releasing our software for some alpha use where we can bring on other people. There's a lot that goes on to that, and one of the pieces we're going to do then is actually create this thing which is Udicci presents Udicci, because one of the things is that we actually have things like URLs that people can go to, like Udicci.TV, Udicci.me, Udicci.us, and they all actually mean something. And silly us, we actually never realized that people would want to know what that stuff means. So we've never taken the time to actually go through and define all of that for everybody.
No one else does either.
No one else does either. And
all I know is I read in the comments when I say, what happens to movie4k.me? Somebody said, oh, it's now movies4.us. Okay. Works for me as long as I can see it.
Just change it. So mid-June, we're going to actually be doing this whole thing where we're going to start. We're going to put together a storyboard, which is, this is what Udicci is. This is what Udicci offers to the basic small business consumer. And there, voila. So that way we can have people stop being offended that we don't express what we do very well. So one of the things we needed to do tonight
Did you
was
have a rough week, Chuck?
I did have a
I
rough
can, you know
week.
what? I can always tell when you're doing self-analysis.
I'm not doing self-analysis. No. No, what I'm doing
No,
today
no,
was-
you did self-analysis last year.
Right.
What you're doing right now is sort of, I feel as though I'm sitting in the therapist chair.
You are, no, you're
And
not
you're
a
saying,
therapist, no.
you're saying, Tess, these are the things that people have been saying to me all week, and
Yes.
it's making me nuts.
And it's making me nuts.
See.
And because...
And how
it's-
have you handled
And,
that,
and,
Chuck?
and, well, the funny thing is like, you get these comments like, you should be doing this, and we're like, oh yes, because that's actually already on our calendar, but thank you. So anyway, so we're gonna be doing that. So over the,
Or better still, well, if you give me the grants that
Right,
I'm applying
right.
for,
If you-
maybe I could do that.
right, if you'd like a little bit more for free, I can't believe that you're asking us to do this for free. Okay, then don't. Just say no.
Just say
and you know, don't be offended that somebody's trying to give you something. If you don't like it, you don't feel it's for you, just go away. But anyway, so
Just go away, please.
so one of the things kind of picking up on that, our lead sentence, and I wanted to kind of bring this back to last week. The lead sentence on this whole thing is Udicci is committed to hope. That's what our actual tagline means. That's what the Credo Spes means. And then the next thing is that I think I was going to say is like, we seek to help promote understanding.
It's good.
Something like that. But one of the things that was interesting last week was that whole conversation about hope. And I really want to make sure that hope is well represented. So how would you think to represent hope? Last week you made it a point to say like, okay, I know you think I have no hope, which I never thought at all. I mean, it's
I know,
your,
that's just your thing that you do.
it's just you think I think that.
That's your peanut gallery thing.
Yes.
I know what it is.
Right, okay, good.
But that's why I needed to clarify that, because I didn't want him to think, because I'd never met him before, and I didn't want the people out there to think that I don't think that there's hope. I do think that there's hope, but I explained how I see that hope. That you got to get through this tsunami,
Right.
in order to get there. And what may be taken as me not having hope is really my frustration that it's taking too long
To get there.
through the tsunami.
And I think that there's a lot of people there. I think that a lot of people in this world right now are at that point where it's just like, I just want to see the breakthrough.
Right.
I want to see the renewal. I want to see the hope.
Right.
You know, because if I don't, I'm going to start questioning whether I should actually be committed to hope.
Right.
You know, so I wanted to ask you first. I mean, how do you express hope? Right. I would want you to actually, like, how would you express hope and what you think hope is?
I would say one of the things that I thought about that today, because in reading, I don't know if it was on Facebook or on Yahoo, but I guess the painter or the artist who did the Obama hope picture said that Obama has failed. And and this is how I guess I can explain how I do have hope. My belief, and I believe the greatest legacy, I mean, there are other things that I think he's doing I'm on board with, but I think that his legacy and what he did for the country was, in that moment of time, that moment in time, what we all needed was hope. We didn't really need to know he's going to run in and be able to do all these things. But what we did need was to believe that there was hope and we could move forward. That is the closest in my lifetime that I've kind of seen people just, really believe. You know what I mean?
Really,
Yeah.
So let's talk about this for a second. That whole idea, like where you write and you really do believe this is reason for hope, and then you have a thing like you're saying today, somebody saying he's really failed with that. And honestly, I don't think any man or woman, but mankind. I don't think any individual can offer hope.
Well,
to the world.
I don't even think I do think they can offer hope, but I would put
Okay,
it
they
I
can
would
offer
I would put it this way. My thinking when he got elected, and I listened to the speeches, was that given what politics is, I didn't expect that he would change the world. But what I thought he did and what we needed at that moment in time was that belief and that hope. And that in
Agreed.
itself.
So, and when I say that, like, a man can't bring hope, or a woman, because I just, if our hope is in a single person, we'll always be let down.
Right.
That person's dead. Oh, okay, no more hope. So
Right.
it's not, it can't be to me about an individual. But what is hope to you? Not like what we need. It's one of those.
I think it's almost in a way it's a hard thing to define. I think I can give metaphors better than a definition.
Okay.
I don't know. I was in Florida, right?
I like that metaphor.
I was in Florida. It was hot as hell and there was alligators. I don't like Florida.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, when I left here, I was extremely stressed out. You know, gotta raise this money. I gotta do stuff. Okay. And then I got to that tipping point, which then you might call hope. I don't know. But I could partly hear my mother's voice in my head, partly just my own determination. You're in this, you know, and I know people care, but you have to believe. You know what you're capable of. I mean, this is self-talk.
Right.
You know what you are capable of. Okay? Therefore, you have to go back to who you are. Because all this other stuff of people saying, you should start a GoFundMe page.
Right.
You should go do this. You should. That's not how I ever functioned. The way I always functioned was, listen, sister, you're on this boat by yourself. So you best believe you're going to get this done. And once I did that, once that moment of clarity, you know, it's like I left, I had no 8-inch caps. I said, what am I going to do? I got there, I said, I'm taking the 14-inch. Put it on the head, twisted the back, gave the illusion at 8 inches. First woman up says, I want 12. That's the best way I can describe hope, is that you have to believe. You have to believe that you can do something, that something can happen. It has to be in the core of believing that. Because once you lose that, and I'm not saying, because I suffer from depression, I'm not saying that there are not times when, you know, I think there is no hope. But then I have to find those things that restore that. Mm-hmm. And one of the things for me that restores hope when I get depressed, believe it or not, is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I watch Frodo's journey.
I guess to me, hope can't be, like I said, in any man or woman. It has to be bigger than the person itself.
It is bigger.
It's like it has to be a belief, because if it's only about yourself, well, you really know yourself.
Right.
You know what you're capable of. You know you can quit. You know you can succeed. You know,
Right.
and then you can just start blaming. Well, I decided to do this, or I decided that.
Right.
But hope is bigger.
It's bigger than that.
Hope is bigger than all that, and you know that's just one of the things that.
And it is hard. It is hard to explain to someone. It's hard to because I was trying to explain to Nigeria today. But why won't you give me a?
Okay, we got 1 minute.
Okay, why don't you give me a year back in public school, see what happens? Really? I don't think so.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And hope for the best.
Good idea, honey. No. Wow, that's unfortunate.
But it's a hard thing, and it is a hard thing to verbalize. But it's one of those things that's almost ethereal. You know what it is, but you can't explain it.
And I guess that's one of those things we should is try to get people to. All right, we're getting done here, but just to really hopefully encourage people to figure
Think
out
about
how to
it.
express
How to express
hope.
that. Yeah.
You know, because we still need hope today.
Yeah, you have to have hope.
And we definitely don't want to, we don't want to see the fall. We actually want to see the rise of hope.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, I said to my mother once, why do people even have children? You know, the world is so, why do you, she said, because there's always hope.
Because there's always hope. All right, so with
Okay.
that, that's going to be Udicci Presents, and we're out of here, and 360 is coming up for Verbum, whatever else. All righty. All right, that was good enough.